That's why, as of right now, Persona 5 is my favorite video game soundtrack. I like to reference games like Persona 5 an unhealthy amount of times. We have one of my favorite games of all time, Persona 5. It's Persona 5! Persona 5, Persona 5.
Where have you been? Been searching all along.
I loved Persona 5, but something happened. Time happened. Why was I unable to shut up about this masterpiece until I eventually did?
Now, tell me your account of everything. Start from the very beginning.
I discovered the Persona series back in high school. My first game was Persona Q, strangely enough, which led me to play through Persona 3 and 4 with my best friend almost every weekend. At this point in time, we were primarily playing League of Legends and Minecraft, so you can probably guess that the Persona series knocked our socks off. We had found these amazing experiences that neither of us had heard of before, and we loved every second of them. Well, of Persona 4 at least. I was so enamored over these two games that for my final project in my high school English class, I made a video essay comparing literature to Persona. My incredibly monotone and way too close to the microphone narration may never see the light of day, but that doesn't mean I'll ever forget that I managed to make it happen. Okay, you know what? You can have a clip, a short one.
Even though it's just a game, it's a powerful experience in which you connect with the characters through social links and physically feel the powerful emotions associated with death and the passage of time.
Alright, cool, I'm gonna go die of embarrassment now. It's safe to say that as soon as I got my grubby little hands on a copy of Persona 5, it was love at first sight.
I've been waiting for this.
I came home every weekend to blaze through it with the same friend I played the other games with. I began relentlessly referencing Persona in my YouTube videos. The soundtrack topped the list of my favorite video game music in 2018, and I'm honestly surprised that I don't absolutely hate Rivers in the Desert, considering how often I listen to it. Hell, I was at the point where jazz music was starting to give me major Persona vibes. But then, well, it's strange. I don't know if I burnt out on the game, listened to the soundtrack too much, or became preoccupied with other things, but the love began to fade. When a game like Persona 5 reaches the level of popularity it did, I think it's easy for me to forget about it, in a bizarre sort of way. Not literally, of course. Persona 5 was everywhere you could look, with Smash announcements, memes, rhythm games, and fucking gacha collaborations. Why is my girlfriend in AFK Arena? Somebody get her out of there. It's easy for me to become distracted and eventually detached from the actual game itself. So I didn't forget about Persona 5 as a concept, but rather as I became engulfed by the noise, I forgot how much the fundamental experience meant to me. This isn't the only time this has affected me, but it's somewhat saddening to think that a game I had channeled so relentlessly in the pursuit of creativity and a series that practically changed my life felt like nothing more than a distant memory. Some subconscious reaction kicked in when I pre-ordered Persona 5 Royal back in 2020, the consumer within me scratching the itch to buy more product, but when it arrived, I plopped it on a shelf with very little intention of playing it. Then why have I suddenly decided to return to relentlessly rambling about Persona 5 once again? Well, almost a year after purchasing Royal, through what can only be described as the whims of fate, I reached out to grab my unopened copy from the shelf and... Are you finally ready to remember? You've averted your eyes for so long. Why not relinquish productivity for the sake of self-indulgence, as if your time has been used wisely thus far? Did you use super glue on this? It seems you truly have forgotten about your obsession. Even though you can see it right there in your profile picture, it's just usually cropped out. I can't really see anything. I am thou. Thou art I. It's time to rediscover the game you once held so dear. All 120 hours. Fine. I could use a break. Guess I gotta do the rest of the video now. Playing Persona 5 Royal felt like playing the game with fresh eyes. Before I reached the new content, I was able to remember almost every important character and general plot point, but it still felt like I was experiencing something for the first time. I paid less attention to the twists and turns of the story and more attention to the writing and themes hidden around every corner. Well, not really hidden. Persona 5 has always been pretty straightforward with its message.
Shitty adults, shitty adults, shitty adults. For real?
I became more attached to the characters, especially Yusuke, as he struggles to escape creative slumps when creating art to make a living rather than out of pure passion. I wanted to beat the shit out of every comically over-the-top evil rat bastard villain in the game even more this time. I would literally jump off the couch and pace around the room during boss fights.
Oh yeah! Who we fucking up today? Alright, shitty adults, man. I'm so sick of them. Oh my god.
Maybe this is just my video essay brain talking, but I feel like I experience games in such a heavier capacity nowadays than I did just 4 years ago. I mean, I sure feel like I've changed a lot as a person since high school, and Royal's new surprises and additions to the original game made the journey even better than the first time around. Okay, except for the fact that they changed the hot goth doctor's voice actress and
Thorough examination?
just doesn't hit the same.
Thorough examination.
Oh yeah, that's the one. The reason I wanted to make this video isn't to explore every facet of the game in detail, but to instead just ramble about the aspects of my second playthrough that I found to be the most rewarding. And also because I sunk 124 hours into it over the course of a month and a half, so I kinda gotta make it into a video. It's my job, that's how this shit works, man. I feel you, Yusuke, I really do, bro. This time in 2021, and who knows what it'll be the next time I inevitably return to this productivity obliterating vortex, I found some strange solace in the loading screen. Not the physical thing, but the text that accompanies a spinning joker, "Take your time." I've expressed this sentiment when reviewing games before, but I like it when things end. I don't particularly care for stories that drag on forever or games drawn out with tedious collecting, side quests, or grinding. Sometimes a game can end after 2 hours and I can feel more satisfied than I did with a game 10 times that length. But Persona 5, in all of its 124-hour glory, is an exception to that rule. And not because it's tedious, not in the slightest. From a gameplay perspective, Royal adds tons of quality of life upgrades and heavily changes Mementos to make grinding a thing of the past. Where do I get all this money as a high schooler? Oh, you know, just a part-time job. Persona 5 is a game that I never want to end, because I adore diving in and immersing myself completely. Sure, it isn't exactly realistic to have girls falling head over heels for you because you engaged them in conversation 9 times, but it's good escapism? This is becoming less of a video essay and more of an anime fan's disillusioned ramblings. Carefully planning out what to do each day, whether it's fighting monsters, going on a nice fishing outing, or inviting Makoto to the jazz club for the 3rd time this week, I enjoy being consumed by that alternate life. I mean, it's obvious why. You get to skip the school part of high school like 90% of the time. You go to bed, wake up, ride the train, and the game fast forwards to after school where you wear fun costumes and hang out with your attractive anime friends and use black magic to summon gods and demons, and you go, ah, geez, I wonder why Persona 5 seems so much cooler than when I went to high school in real life.
Give it up!
Wait a minute. Rather than rushing through Royal to find the new content or just say I beat it, I wanted to indulge in every relaxing opportunity the game presented me with. I solved the crossword puzzles every time they showed up on the table, I read all of the silly references in the books and movies, and sometimes I'd just sit back and relax listening to Beneath the Mask for a while. Royal manages to expand on the concept of taking your time even further with the addition of the Thieves Den. Persona 5 is such a large undertaking that even the game itself acknowledges that there's no need for it to be rushed through. After a long series of battles or cutscenes, it's a nice change of pace to wander around a bizarre fourth wall breaking trophy room looking at cool statues or playing Tycoon with the other members of the Phantom Thieves. Makoto came up to me after school one day like, "Hey, can we go to the palace before I get extorted by the mafia?" To which I responded, "Ah, dang, sorry, I'm a little busy with the card game I'm beating you guys at in my brain."
Tycoon, huh?
You're quite a player.
It's all mine.
A high school girl was taken into custody at an establishment for illegal services the other day. Even through her drug-induced stupor, she managed to identify one name clearly. Yours.
I'm rich. It's all mine.
Persona 5 reminds you about the inherently limited and stressful nature of time while simultaneously telling you to take your time. The loading screen says it, the characters say it, it's a freaking dialogue option half the time. And while this may be a strange concept to analyze, I've been thinking a lot about how Persona 5 Royal changed the way I approached the game through the trophy system, because it led me to believe that Persona 5 is a worse game if you use a guide while playing it. The original Persona 5's achievements are ruthless. Even if you are physically ingesting a game fact guide into your very soul and grinding EXP down to your bones, it's impossible to get a platinum trophy in one playthrough. Even during my initial playthrough, in which I used a strict guide to see all the social links, I only earned 67% of the trophies, and I still regret how that guide affected my experience to this day. If you want a platinum, you have to do absolutely everything. For example, complete every Mementos request, max every confidant, max every social stat, read every book, play every video game, and complete the entire Persona compendium, which is only possible in New Game Plus. Many new players, myself included, probably approached Persona 5 with the desire to do everything, but after playing Royal, my personal opinion is that Persona 5 is best experienced imperfectly. As the game's loading screen says take your time, while simultaneously unloading a dump truck full of opportunities at your doorstep, a driving force behind the Persona series begins to present itself. You can't do everything. It's unrealistic for anyone to believe that they can do everything in real life. I know that Persona 5 is a fantasized role-playing game where eating a big burger turns you into a more capable and attractive human being, but a lot of the game's beauty actually comes from pushing the player to understand that they can't do everything. It's why the calendar system is such an integral part of the series, with the date and current deadline always displayed in the corners of the screen, forcing the player to grapple with the concept of time. Everyone should have to decide for themselves which aspects of the game are most important to them.
Listen, babe, I'm really sorry. I can't go to the movies tonight. I'm gonna go catch the guardian fish again.
How dare you! I won't let you feel my rage!
Getting hit by a piece of chalk in class and reloading your save to dodge it for a couple extra charm points is not something that every player is gonna think to do, nor do I think they should do. You know, I'm looking at the list of Persona abilities, and unfortunately, it does not include time travel. So what am I building towards when it comes to Persona 5 Royal? Well, Royal did away with the absolutely absurd achievements of the original game and instead replaced them with a set that, while challenging for beginners, is much more achievable in a single playthrough. I mean, you can't do the flu season thing with the Reaper anymore, but I didn't exactly have any trouble blasting him to Kingdom Fuck in the 3rd semester. Replaying a game several times in the pursuit of doing everything only feels enjoyable if those playthroughs will feature some divergent paths, or new content to make the act of completionism feel worthwhile. Infamous 2, for example, wow, bizarre example, but I think it's one of the only games I ever platinumed, has different missions and endings based on the good and evil pathlines, so it makes sense to have the player witness every event for the complete experience. However, Persona 5 Royal is 120 hours long. I do not have time, scratch that, most people do not have time to play this kind of game more than once.
Wait, but I just did.
Instead, Royal designs its achievements around all of its new additions, like exploring the new locations in Kichijoji. Classic tasks such as attaining maximum social stats are much more manageable, and the entire set of trophies takes a general approach of, hey, you should check out all the cool stuff we have in the game, but trying to fill the Persona compendium without an online fusion calculator would probably make you rip your hair out. For true completionists, all sorts of achievements are packed into the new Thieves Den, but for the average player, they serve as a cute illustration of the unique events that have taken place during their playthrough. Achieved a romantic relationship with all potential romanceable confidants. Either I'd have to log over 1,000 hours into Persona 5, or... Oh, you're not supposed to do that.
So, the game is over.
I'm so happy that I decided to play this game again. For the past year or so on this channel, I have been particularly engrossed by indie games, but the first word that comes to mind for a big budget game like Persona 5 is spectacle. A game this massive, produced by hundreds of artists over the course of 5 years, has a certain grandeur that sweeps you up in its world. As blatantly loud and boisterous as its message can often be, Persona 5 lights a fire up in my soul and uses the interactive medium of video games to provide a journey like no other. For some, an estimated playtime of 120 hours may be a drawback, and I totally understand that. You can do a hell of a lot in 120 hours. But when it comes to the Persona series, embarking on a journey over the course of an entire real-life month captures my attention and twists my emotions in a way nothing else can. As I reacquainted myself with the game's mechanics, universe, and music, and forged intimate relationships with the game's confidants all over again, Persona 5 dragged me in so deeply that when the credits finally kicked me out, I didn't want to leave. The extra 16 hours tacked onto the end of Royal only further strengthened my adoration, and easily became my favorite part of the entire experience. The emotional complexity and maturity of the game's third semester throws you for a loop on how you personally view happiness, and forces you to make a decision regarding the false reality created for the other members of the Phantom Thieves. It's a really tough pill to swallow. I decided to play the game all the way through in pursuit of the true ending, although one could argue that a true ending doesn't even exist. The ending that plays after rejecting the ideal reality continues to turn in my mind weeks after first witnessing it. At first, I didn't like it, or rather, I didn't fully understand it. I felt robbed of the original wholesome cutscene where the Phantom Thieves run from the police and drive Joker back home together. But then I thought about it, and I watched it again. In rejecting an ideal reality, you aren't given the perfect happy ending you may have been expecting, and instead watch as the Phantom Thieves go their separate ways, remaining connected by the bonds of friendship and standing firm in their decisions to tread their own paths in life. Hell, take it from the wiki. Apart from the standard anti-authority and anti-corruption themes existent within the Persona 5 campaign, Royal's third semester features an anti-escapism theme. But I was using the game as... But it's good escapism? Oh no. Even the music, while still maintaining that Persona 5 feel, ventures into much more wistful and somber territory to accompany Royal's new ideas. I got to the end of the final palace and they said, you know what? Life Will Change was so good, we made Life Will Change too! And that shit brought me to the verge of tears. Usually you have to have heard a song in a video game before for it to hit you like that, but I just sat there for like 10 minutes listening to it on loop, thinking about the actual time I had spent getting to that point. About how strong the emotions of a song can hit you if you've spent over 100 hours caught up in a game's world. Man, this is great.
Oh fuck, is that a new boss theme? Okay, your boss theme is amazing, but I'm just gonna need a little bit more time to emotionally recover before any sort of credits music. Oh, so it's gonna be one of these kind of nights. Yeah, okay.
I've seen an idea circulating online for a while now, that you shouldn't define yourself by the things you like, that people should get a personality outside of the entertainment they consume. I think this is primarily said in response to those who take things to extremes, but it most often surfaces within interests like video games and anime. If someone was incredibly passionate about music or books or sports, I feel like it wouldn't make as much of a fuss. So what the hell am I getting at here? While there can often be a fine line between love and an unhealthy obsession, any type of art has the power to heavily impact someone's life if it hits in the right place at the right time, and expressing yourself through your interests can be incredibly fulfilling. Part of me believes I wouldn't be where I am today without that awkward video essay I made about the Persona series, or that I wouldn't even know what to be doing with my life if it weren't for the passion I have for video games. I've bonded with some of my closest friends by playing Persona alongside them, or just gushing about the games together late at night. The entire career I've been building online these past few years is kinda centered around talking about how amazing video games are, because it's something I know about more than pretty much anything else in my life. I'm just gonna plagiarize my Celeste video here. Video games are pretty dang cool. They have the power to change the lives of those that play them for the better, and those that play them know that. If people can make new friends, form communities, and express themselves through their favorite works of art, then who is anyone to stop them? I wear my heart on my sleeve when it comes to this kind of thing, and trust me, a couple people commenting cringe on my videos aren't ever gonna stop me from putting on these silly costumes and making a fool of myself. It's pretty fun. Through both of my playthroughs, Persona 5 gave me an escape during a difficult time in my life, but also served as a means to help me continue pushing forward. It reminded me that the fleeting moments you spend with others are one of the most important parts of living. And yes, most of all, it reminded me to take my time. And on that note, thank you for watching this video. I want to give an extra special thanks to my patrons for making it a bit more feasible for me to spend 2 full months on a massive project like this. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, and if you'd like to support my videos directly while getting access to various rewards, you can check out my Patreon link in the description. And I guess that's everything. I guess I've finally finished that little video essay I made all the way back in high school.
At least the last Persona game was released like 10 years ago, so I probably won't have to ever make another one of these videos again. Wait a second. What is, oh, no.